Hi everyone, welcome to the Swift Arcade. I'm your host, Jonathan Rasmussen. In this week's episode, we're going to take a look at shadows. How do you add them to your applications? How do you add them to your UIViews? And how do you deal with the number one problem that we seem to face when working with shadows, and that is dealing with views that are clipped. So if you've ever wanted to add shadows to your application and see the mechanics behind how these things work, come on in and learn all about iOS shadows. Okay, let's skip the theory of shadows and just go add one to a view ourselves. Let's just fire up Xcode, create a brand new project, and let's start with something like a brand new application here. Let's just call this Shadow Fun. Feel free to save this wherever you like. I'm just going to put it on my desktop. And let's go ahead and keep the storyboards. We don't need to get rid of those here. We're going to do all of our work in the view controller. And let's just come in here. I'm going to get rid of these margins by going Option Command 0 and Option 0. And let's just start by adding a plain view to a view controller. So let's come up here and call our view Shadow View. We're going to make this just a plain UI view. This is what we're going to add our shadow to. And let's just get it into our view controller. Let's start by giving it a nice background color, something nice and crisp like a system blue. Let's do this with AutoLayout. So let's set our mask, our translate mask to be equal to false, which we always need to do because if we forget that, AutoLayout won't work. Then let's add that to our view. Let's add that to our subview to get it in the view hierarchy. And then let's do some basic auto layout. I'm going to add a snippet here, which is just going to put the view right in the middle of the view controller. So to do that, let's just go center X. Let's add a constraint there. That constraint is going to be equal to the views center X. And let's do the same thing for the Y. Let's get it in the middle of the Y. And let's give this thing just some nice default sizes. I'm going to explicitly set the size to be, let's give it a width of 300. So that constraint is going to be equal to constant 300. And let's give it a height of 200. So if we go in here and change width to height, there. This is a nice typical setup because a lot of times we want to add shadows to UIKit views. So if we run this, and I'm not going to run it on the iPod Touch 7, let's go to something nice like the 12 Pro Max. So I'm going to go ahead and run it on there. And voila, there we go. We've got a nice view on our screen. Let's add a shadow to this. When you're adding a shadow to a view, it's literally a two-liner. All we need to do here is come down and access the shadow's CALayer, and then use its shadow properties like shadow opacity and shadow offset to add a shadow to this view. If you drop in this code here with a shadow opacity of 0.5, meaning it's going to be not too dark, not too light, halfway in between, and then we go CG size of 5.5, meaning we'd like our shadow to be offset 5 points going down and to the right in this direction. If we run that, you'll get a nice shadow effect just going around the edges of your view. And that's all there is to adding a shadow to a UI view. Now for many applications, this might be all you need, just a simple shadow on the back of a view. But if you need to do more complex shadows, you need to drop down into core graphics and start using these things called Bezier Curves. Bezier Curves are basically mathematical representations of lines in math. The advantage they have over laying out a shadow completely in a bitmap or pixel by pixel way is these are highly performant and they enable you to do custom drawings, which we're going to do with core graphics. So for example, the way they work is to define a curve like this. You basically start with a point and then you can bend the curve by defining these control points. Now, not all Bezier curves have to be curves. You can also make these as plain rectangles and ovals. And that's what we're going to do to add some really cool effects to our shadows. Let me show you what I mean. Let's say we wanted to add a nice bottom shadow to our view, something that goes right along the bottom here that makes it look like there's a light source above casting a shadow down. How could we do that? Well, one way to do that would be using something called a UIVezierPath. If we come back into our code here, I'm just going to rename this by going Control-Command-E. I'm going to give us a little bit more real estate by renaming Shadow View to SV. And then if you Google around the internet and you come up with some nice examples on how to do this, you may be tempted to come over and replace this shadow code, which added a simple shadow for us, with something like this. Here we're basically using a CGRect to describe the rectangle that we would like to lay out down here for our shadow. And then we're filling that in with a Bezier Path. Now watch what happens when I run this on our app. Let's see if we get the shadow. Well, that's kind of weird. We do, but look where it is. It's in the upper right-hand corner. That's not quite the effect we want. What we really wanted was to have that shadow be relevant to the height and width of our bounds here. So why didn't it get added to our shape in the right way? And this is probably the #1 thing that trips people up when they start working with shadows in UIKit relative to the shape they want to add the shadow to, is their bounds hasn't been completely drawn. If we run this application again, and I set a breakpoint just after the bounds has been set here, look at what the height and width are of our bounds if we go to print out sv.bounds. It's 0, meaning our shape, when we go to do our shadow work here, hasn't fully been laid out. It doesn't have the 200 or the 300 size that we've got here because we're still in view-did load. We have not laid out the view yet. So the way to fix this is to take this code that we've added, but not do that work in view-did load. We need to do it in view-did-appear. In other words, this is after the view has been loaded into our view hierarchy. It will have the shapes and size that it needs. Super.view-did-appear. Sorry, I can't type and think at the same time. Let me just go like this. But all we need to do to fix this, and if you ever have this problem where you think you've added a shadow but you're not seeing it on the view, make sure that your view is fully rendered. If you need those sizes, come down here and that's added to view-did load. And if we run the application now, we set a breakpoint here. Let's just check and see what our bound sizes are. Now if we come up here and check out bounds, good, we've got a height of 300 by 200. And if we let the program run, we should see the nice shadow come down to the bottom here. So that's something just to keep in mind and be important when you're working with shadows. If you are drawing a shadow dependent upon the bounds or the height or the width of the view, make sure you're adding it after that view's been added to the hierarchy, and then you can fully leverage and do all that great Bezier curve stuff yourself. Speaking of which, let's go over this code. What's it actually doing? Well, the best way to do this, I find, is actually look at it pictorially. And if you go onto my website here, under the shadows section of core animations, I've got a section here which walks you through how this actually gets drawn. And in this case, what happens is we're drawing a core graphics rect right around like this, and then filling it in with an oval. And here you can see how all of our dimensions are laid out. Remember, the origin in core graphics here is starting in the upper left at 0, 0. And we're defining a rect with an X and Y coordinate of X value shadow size, which means we're coming over here to the size of the shadow, which we're saying is 20. The Y value is going to be the height coming down with an increased offset of shadow size times 0.4. That's how we get this point here. That's the XY. And then we basically just define the height and the width by taking the width of our view, adding the shadow size times 2, just to make it a little bit bigger on each side, and then giving it a height of shadow size, which happens to be 20. This is how we are customly drawing out our shadow using a UIViews with an oval in passing in the rectangle we've got. It's not as complicated as it looks. I know it can be a little bit overwhelming if you're used to working purely in UIKit. You've maybe never seen a CGRect before. Like, what is that? If you're not familiar with core graphics, do go check out another video I've got. I'll leave a link in the notes, or you can click up here. That'll give you an overview and just a quick refresher on core graphics. But all we're really doing is working with the core graphics coordinate system, drawing a rectangle, and then filling it in with an oval. That's how we add this nice shadow at the bottom here. Of course, working with Bezier Curves, you can do even more complex things with shadows. Things like this. If you wanted a nice front shadow here, something leaning forward, you could define a trapezoid by basically going to the various points, moving around, filling in the trapezoid based on the height and the width of your view, and give you a really nice forward-looking shadow like this. We can do curve shadows, adding a nice curl keynote effect that you might sometimes see in Keynote. We can do that, again, by adding Bezier Curves, walking around, defining these points. In this case, our shadow is going to be completely behind this view. And the one wrinkle here is we're going to add a curve. Now, curves can be tricky, and this Bezier Path stuff isn't exactly, intuitive when you first get into it. But if you go to my notes and you see how we've drawn it out, I do walk you through basically how in this case, to add this curve on the bottom, we are going to this point of 0 with a height of curve amount y. We're basically going here, and we're adding this curve by adding these two control points. This is kind of how Bezier Curves work. I didn't come up with this myself. A lot of these examples you're seeing here come from Paul Hudson's excellent tutorial on shadows. I do recommend you check it out. I've taken what Paul's done and just drawn some pictures here. But basically, it's just working off examples. Here's one that has a nice dramatic effect. We can add a nice crisp shadow down and to the right by basically adding a trapezoid. We can define a Bezier Path where we're basically moving to the points of a parallelogram here, adding an opacity of 0.2 so that the translucency comes through. And basically, these are just some of the things you can do when you get into adding more and more complex paths. Working with Bezier Curves, laying them out, and basically just adding these nice shadow effects to your views. Now there is one more wrinkle I want to show you with working with shadows, and this is why it's good you stay to the end. I want to show you how to work with clipped views. To demonstrate this, we're going to add an image to our assets catalog here. A nice picture of some flowers. And I'm going to show you what happens when you add a UI image view like this and you clip it. Let me show you what I mean. Let's come back into our view here, and let's change this UI view we have to a UI image view. And let's actually rename this variable image view as well. And instead of just having a blue background like this, let's go image view. Let's set the image on this to be the flower that we just added to our asset catalog. I think I called it flowers. Did I call it flowers or flower? Flowers, okay. Let's add that there. And I'm also going to get rid of the constraints and not make it 200 by 300. And let's not do this nice work here. Let's just remove all shadows. And let's just start with a plain old image. Let's get it on screen. And there we go, a nice looking flower on the screen. Now we could add shadow to this, and if we wanted to do it in the simplest way we could just do it with that basic shadow we started with in the beginning. We could just add some opacity, set an offset down and to the right, and hey, this looks pretty good. We've got an image, we've got some shadow, game over, good stuff, we won. Well, not exactly. Because what can happen sometimes when we're working with images is for various reasons in our views, we need those images, or more specifically, the bounds to be clipped. What that means is if our image is too big, like sometimes when we're rendering avatars, or we just want a face or a very specific part of the picture on screen, we'll clip that view so that only that part shines through on the view holding it, in this case, our image view. Now watch what happens when we comment in this line, set clip to bounds equal to true. It removes our shadow. And this is probably the number one reason why people wrestle with shadows sometimes is they've got a clip view and they don't know how to deal with it because clipping the view hides the shadow. Fortunately, there's an easy way to fix this. What we can do is set the layers mask to bounds equal to false. What that does is it basically says, you can go ahead and clip this parent image up here. I understand you don't want that image to shine through, that's fine. But for the underlying layers, let those masks or let those values shine through. In other words, don't clip our underlying shadows on our CALayer here. By simply setting this equal to false, you can have a clipped image, get your shadows coming through, kind of like having your cake and eating it too. So if you're not getting your shadows coming through, two things to check. One is to make sure that you're not accidentally clipping the bounds of your shadow, and you can solve that by setting this to equal false, mask to bounds. And number two, if you are doing custom shadow work that does rely on the view's bounds being set, make sure you did it after the view's been rendered on the page in View Did Appear. That will give you the bound size, and then you can do your shadow work based on that work there. If you want to dig more into shadows, do come to my repo. Under shadows here, under animations, I do have a full walkthrough of how all of these shadows were created and how you can add them to your app. I do have a link down here in the bottom, somewhere way down here in the bottom, to the source code, so you can actually come in here and run the examples yourself. And in there, you'll see a demo of all the different shadows we've added. I've just created a simple UIView controller. You can come in here, you can play with them, you can see how they all work. But basically, all the source code is here. Do come check it out if you want to play with some shadows and do these more. All right, well, there you have it, the world of shadows. These things really confused me at first, but once I started playing with them, laying them out, working through all the gotchas like View Did Appear and the clipping, they're not that bad. And they're really cool. You can get a lot with a nice simple shadow coming down to the right, or you can do a lot more complex things like we saw here. So do check out the repo, do play with these things. And if you did like this video, do hit like and subscribe. It was a lot of fun to create. I enjoy creating these for you, so appreciate the support out there on the web. Okay, thank you so much for coming, everyone. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.